Today we're going to talk about I think it's a month and a half, maybe 2 months with my iPad Pro M1, and whether or not it changed how I use my iPad at all compared to the 2018 version that I had. Before we get into that, a couple ways to support the channel. You become a YouTube member, there's a join button or something, or you can give super thanks if you like this video as well. You can also take one of my courses at curtismchale.ca/Skillshare, and that'll take you to Skillshare, where you can just take one of my courses there. There's links to them all below. We also have a quiet Discord channel if you want to maybe chat with me. Buckle up, let's talk about the M1 iPad Pro. So for a long time, I used my 12.9 as my main computer, my only computer. I did all my programming on it. I did kind of everything on it. And at some point that changed. And that changed for a few reasons. And that changed because I was having trouble with the SFTP clients like Secure Shellfish. Basically, there was just more steps being added to my work that was hard to do. That made my job harder because I had to kind of work around the tools that were available on my iPad. And I mean, ultimately, let's get to the end here. It's kind of still the same. Yes, we have secure Shellfish. We have Blink, and you can use SCP to transfer files, which I've actually done, so there'll be a video link up above. And yes, I can use a VPS to code with my iPad and Vim, which is how I code. So I can use a virtual machine and log into it and code exactly the same way I do currently with my iPad. But there's still some issues. There's not a good database browsing tool for my iPad that I can get to connect. There are some out there. I think it's SQL Pro, but it just doesn't work. Or SQL Workbench Pro. I'll put a link or the name below here because I forget the exact one. It's available in Setup, and I cannot get it to connect to anything, whether it's on Mac or it's on my iPad. So it just doesn't work that way. It just can't work for me. We also have Inspect Browser, which I've talked about before, and that does offer me development tools, but again, it just feels limited in some way. And one thing I tried with my M1 Air was to see, like, is it the screen size? So I worked with just the M1 Air for a while with a 13-inch screen, and that feels super limiting, super limiting. So it's in part the screen, but I think it's also partly the software and what we have with the iPad Pro. So I guess the question is, what do I use my iPad Pro for? Basically anything away from the desk. So during the day, I work for a company called Markentum, and I run a small development team there. And I guess one other confounding issue is that their project management tool of choice, Wrike, sucks on your iPad. The iPad app doesn't offer most of the features that the app has. It just doesn't even have them. And Safari works, but Safari is just a little bit more of a pain in the butt to use. And I really prefer a dedicated app. Even on my Mac OS machine, I use Wrike's dedicated web app for it because then I can actually just go into Wrike only and not have some tab that I randomly close by accident. So what do I use this for? I use it for basically everything else. I use it for writing. I use it for reading, taking notes on books. I use it for basically all my email. I use it for everything, all my YouTube videos, all my course building, all my mind mapping, everything like that. All my spreadsheet work via numbers, I use it for everything on my iPad. The only thing I don't do on my iPad now is code regularly. We're getting back to a point where I could, now that we're setting up automated deployment at work. So I could do that, and I could FTP off to our servers without having to worry about it. And so we'll try this again in probably a couple months and just kind of see the state of where development is for the iPad, how I have to do it, how I have to set it up, and how I have to keep it secure, because we don't want other people just viewing my demo sites for clients up on their servers, up on my own server somewhere. But we're not there yet. That's really it. I love the iPad, but there's just a few things it can't do. I wonder if better multi-screen support would help. I wonder if there's just one or two other things, right? If a good database connection tool came out for the iPad that I could get to work, then maybe that would make it work. So I do have to browse databases fairly regularly. I wonder if, Inspect just added a couple more features, and I don't even know what they are. I just don't know what they are. But I wonder if just a few more features in Inspect would help the iPad feel like it's really a good tool, and it's the final tool that I need. But it's just not there yet. It's by far my favorite computer. It's the one I want to use. It's the only one I take off my desk. Like when I reach forward here and grab my, there's like a layer of dust you can feel on my M1 Air. I don't move it. I don't use the keyboard on it. I do, like you can see the keys where I've wiped now. You can see that there's clean keys and dirty keys. I don't use it. But the iPad, or I don't use the M1 Air off my desk. It doesn't move. But the iPad Pro is just not quite there yet. That's it. If you like the video, thumbs up below. If you loved it, you can subscribe. You hit the bell. YouTube's supposed to let you know something happened, but honestly, we got better things to do. So maybe don't even bother, allowing notifications. But it helps me with the channel, I hear. Other ways to support the channel and become a member with YouTube. You get some access. You'll get a video like this early. And in the future, you'll get some like director's commentary on some other videos I'm working on. Join Discord. Honestly, there's links to everything below. If you like the video, I'd love some support so we can keep going. Have an awesome day.